It was a hmm, somewhat cool, cloudy day as Sarno left the temple, heading to the north. And as he traveled right to the north successfully, it's always a little punchy. As he traveled to the north very successfully, very successfully, he went to. Okay, he continued through the forest. Okay. This forest, as I'm taking notes, this forest was was not quite so hazardous as the one that he left behind. Nonetheless, he did right encounter something right on the way. And what did he encounter in the forest, you may be wondering? So am I. It turns out it was a giant snake coiled in the mud of a dried out riverbed. Now, this giant snake was. We need to check to see, because I don't think giant snakes are naturally chaotic. I think that they are actually neutral. At least that is the way that most animals are. Giant snake is neutral, yes. So that being the case, how does it react? Um, Hostile. Yeah. Yeah, definitely hostile. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. He's a +1, not a -1. Okay. It is just suspicious of him. That's good, because that means I can avoid the snake. Okay. And we leave the snake alone. And I think the snake is happy with that, as snakes typically are. Leave them alone, they leave you alone most of the time. And we spend then midday exploring this area to see what kind of points of interest may possibly be here. And what do we find? We find that here in this forest there is a ravine, which is which has a door to another plane. Okay, so I'm going to draw here a ravine. Let's see here. You need to communicate as a ravine and not a river. Oh, is that a ravine? Sure. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. Um, such a terrible artist. Okay. All right. So ravine 804. This is has a ravine. This is a risky area. And the ravines has a door to another lane. You know what though? I'm not going to touch that. I'm no, I'm not. I am not. I am level 1. I am not touching this door to another plane. I am leaving it behind. Very much so. And I'm going to continue. So midday we explored. I can. I think I'm going to try to make camp. I'm going to make camp here. All right, so let's make some camp while I'm here. Making camp is an intelligence or wisdom. Well, my intelligence is terrible, so let's go ahead and try the wisdom roll. And it was not successful. Okay, so there is perhaps going to be a mishap as I'm making camp. 7. There is a mishap. A swarm of mosquitoes or other insects descends on the campsite. Each character has several itchy, irritating bites and suffers disadvantages on all checks and attack rolls for 2 travel rounds. All right, so evening. We make camp. Mosquitoes. Okay, so I have disadvantage through next morning. So, okay. Now, again, we are still in this area, so there's the possibility. So when I explored, I found a ravine. Let's find out what other kinds of potential. Okay, nothing happens in the evening. The night comes. Now, one of the big questions that comes up is at night, do I play things as deadly? Or should I play them as not? Now, I think I'm going to not. Simply because one of the things that is mentioned in Shadow Dark is that it's very rare to be fully dark at nighttime. Right, so I'm going to go with that and just say that we keep the regular level. In this case, a risky level. So that is what we do for checks. And there is another random encounter, 05. All right, so forest encounter number 05. And this is at night. Oh, goodness. Well, apparently, nighttime is not very restful for certain people because as I am trying to sleep in the middle of the night, it turns out that 3 boars uh, just stampede through my camp, right? Because they are fleeing for 6 hunting centaurs. Well, isn't that fantastic? Sounds great. Just absolutely great. All right, so the question here, right, is when these boars and centaurs come across me, I don't think they'd likely be that interested in me, right? So that's the question, right? Do any of these, right, interact with me in any meaningful way? So I'm thinking the boars they're in flight mode, so they're probably not going to stop and charge me intentionally. So the question is whether I see them in time to get out of the way. Right, so that would be, I'd say, a wisdom check. Right, so can I get out of the way so that they don't actually do me any harm? Okay. 5 would be what my check says. Wisdom is at a +0, so that's still just 5. That's not good. It's very bad. So I'm gonna say that it's very possible I might have gotten hurt. So I'm gonna roll this as if right one of the boars is attacking me. So fortunately, I'm pretty sure boar is one of the things that is in here. Yes, there it is. Right, so a boar, oh dear, it has 2 attacks with a tusk, but it's not intending to attack me, right? So I'm just gonna roll it once, and this is at a +3. Uh, 6 + 3 is 9. Fortunately, my AC is 13, so I am fine. Whew, okay, so a boar comes barreling at me. I managed to just barely dodge out of the way. What about the centaurs? Now, they're going to be a little bit more intelligent about this, and I suspect they don't care about me. So that's the question. Do any of them stop to interact with me? I'm going to go ahead and roll this as an oracle roll, but I'm going to roll it, in effect, with disadvantage. So I'm going to take the lower of these two. 12. Actually, yes. Right, so they do stop, right, to interact with me. So I don't know what that interaction is like. So what are centaurs like, right, in the Shadow Dark universe? This is it's herd dwelling beings with the upper body of a human, lower body of a horse. Well, yes, that is what a centaur is like. That is what the thing is. Okay, now here we go. It's a neutrally aligned creature, right? So interpreting that so that they are at least interested in the fact that I am there, but I don't know what their reaction to me is going to be. So let's go ahead and roll a reaction roll. and it's a 9. 9 indicates neutrality. Okay, so they aren't particularly interested in attacking me or anything like that. Oh, I should have rolled for distance as well. That could have potentially let me know whether I was going to get run over by the boars or not. At the very least, I think that them having a neutral attitude, right? So they do stop, right? At least one of them, I'd say, or maybe two of them, right? In this hunting party, stop um, to perhaps apologize. That would make some degree of sense. I mean, for barging through my camp, they were unaware, right, that I was there. I think that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and give myself that soft open there, um, or that soft ball or whatever. Right. Okay. So that's what happened with that particular encounter. Fine. The centaurs are not going to attack me or anything like that. They are interested in hunting the boars, so they run off after them. Wonderful. Okay, so next thing then, I think I want to continue to the north when it comes morning, right? So morning here of the next day, we are going to continue uh, to the north. So this is going to be again an intelligence roll to see if I can make it there. 13. Oh, I've been getting so lucky with these rolls. Oh, no, I haven't. Is a 13 minus 2 is an 11, and that's a fail. Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my luck tokens. So I have to roll a 14 or higher. Ugh. A 5 is definitely not a 14 or higher. So I'm going to use that last token. 17 is a 14 or higher. All right. So I do manage in the morning to move. So we're going to lead to 0803. Right. Okay. So what kind of terrain, right, do I face up here? Let's find out. So the new hex has 9. It's the current terrain plus 2 steps. So from forest, it's the ocean. Right. So as we head to the north, so this is the ocean. You can see all the waves, right? Yeah. Right. So I think I can't actually get to the north. So I just come up here, and there's a coast right along here, and that's what I get to as I come out of the forest. So I'm curious, how dangerous, right, is this? One, also, it's not very. It's a very safe area. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out another sheet of paper. I like to describe the things that are here. So it's ocean and it's safe. All right, cool. Well, I don't have a boat or anything, so I can't hop into the ocean. But what I will do, I'm going to travel over to 704 instead. Okay, and that's going to be my mid-morning or my midday action. So we are at the point now where my disadvantage has worn off. Okay, so let's go ahead and wait, no. Forgot. I need to check my random encounters. Nope, no random encounter. All right. Now I'm going to head over to 704 right here. So it's just kind of following the coast along here. So what is 704 like? And do I actually make it there? Let's see. No, I don't. I get lost. So, all right. So lost in 0803 still. Um, I think it makes sense here there would not be a specific point of interest, most likely. There might be something kind of along the coastline, perhaps. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and rule that there isn't something interesting here. And then we come to evening. What happens in the evening? Well, let's see if I can make camp. Right, so making camp using a wisdom roll, DC 12, and I failed. Right, so let's find out what kind of mishap I may have experienced this time. 9. Oh, 9 is an exciting mishap. Fire spreads out of control. Your character must make a DC 12 dex. or lose a random piece of gear. Oh, fantastic. All right. I'm just looking for like a town or something. That's all I want to find. Instead, like a little fire from like dry wood that I find in the forest because I don't want to use my torches. Right. And then it starts spreading and catch my stuff on fire. Right, so there's not against an opposing force, so grit does not apply. So I make a DC 12 check, and I rolled a 16 plus 0 is a pass, success, or whatever. Right, so at the very least, okay, so I did make camp. Let's see if I have a random encounter here. 3 indicates a no. Right, and then in at nighttime, I'm just gonna sleep. So this is rest. And let's see. No random encounter there either. Wonderful. So now we come to the next morning. Time is just flying by, isn't it? And we're just spending all of this time wandering along the coast, trying to find our way out of that stupid hex. All right, 10 minus 2 is an 8. So we're still lost along that coastline, just kind of wandering. Okay, how about midday? Midday, even more lost. We are so lost. All right, and just checking for random encounters here. One. Okay. So I'm gonna say that happens midday because I forgot to roll before. So we do have a random encounter. So I'm gonna check whether I should use ocean or coast here, just because I mean, technically, I feel like I'm more on a coast than in the ocean. Right, because yeah, like when I look at the ocean stuff, the ocean looks more like you're like in a boat or something like that, and that is not the situation I'm in. We're much more in kind of the river coast sort of situation, that kind of situation, uh, which is not ruins, river and coast. That's it. Yeah. This makes much more sense to me. Okay. All right, so let's find out what this random encounter is that we have along the river or coast. So in this case, coast. 48. 48 indicates that 1d4 fairies are trapped in a corked glass bottle floating by. Okay, so how many fairies is it? It is a total of 4. Well, I do not like that particular d4. Um, Random encounter 4 fairies in bottles float by. I think I'm going to go try to save them. I think that makes some degree of sense. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can save them. All right, so I'm going to run out into the ocean, although I'm wearing my chainmail, which is not the best for trying to swim. So that's the question. Are they close enough that I, as a dwarf, right, am tall enough to like just get out to them? Can I do that? Let's see. I'm gonna roll at let's see. I'm gonna roll at disadvantage because I am a dwarf. Right. So lowest here is a 3. 3 indicates the answer is no, but no, I can't get to them. But okay, so but I think that what I can do is that there is like driftwood around. So I think that maybe while I can't get all the way to them, I can actually find a piece of driftwood that I can use to like scoop them right toward the shore. So the question is, can I get all of them? And I don't think so. I don't think that's possible because I need to respect that no answer at least a little bit. Right? So I think that I cannot get all of them. Instead, I can only save 2 of them. Right? So Sarno saves 2 fairies from the bottles. And I think, given the situation, they're probably going to be favorably disposed toward him. So I don't think it makes any sense for me to roll this as, I could have rolled distance, couldn't I? To figure how far out they were. Oh well. Okay, so in any case, but I don't think it makes sense, right, for them to like turn on him or anything like that. Most likely. So I think instead, um, because I know he wants to get out of here, I think it makes sense that he's going to ask them for directions or something like that. See, can they help him, right, to find a place that they can to go along this coastline, right? So, can they help him get, say, to this area? That's the question. So I'm just going to roll it. And so first thing, he's trying to persuade them to help him. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this one as a charisma. It's a charisma check of 12. So he's using some persuasion. 11 is not quite enough. So they aren't actually particularly interested in helping him. So the question is, can he change his approach somewhat to make it more attractive to the fairies? I don't know what he could offer them because he doesn't have any like baubles or anything like that. He could offer them some gold or something like that, but I don't really think that know that fairies are typically that interested in such things. So, I mean, miniature fae folk with fluttering moth or butterfly wings. They're poisonous, which that's exciting. Um, okay. So I think, yeah, he saves a couple of them, but they aren't particularly appreciative as far as that goes. They not that they're like mad at him or something like that, but no, they just continue on their way. That's it. They don't particularly care that he helped them out. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to them at all. Right, so they just leave him. And now he has to make camp again at a plus 0. 13 is a success. Nice. Well, not that nice, but much better than we've been doing. So, evening, he makes camp, does so successfully. Oh, goodness. And then we're going to go to night. Oh, wait, he still needs to check for random encounters, doesn't he? Right. So even though we are here by the ocean is safe. It is possible there might be another random encounter in the evening, and there is not one. Okay, so at nighttime, he is again going to rest. This is a very mechanical episode, apparently. Um, he wasn't there. Is he gonna have? He doesn't have to check to see if he can sleep. We do have to see whether he has an encounter. He does not. All right. So continuing on to the next morning. I tried to get him an advantage, but it just didn't happen. I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and give him an advantage because he has failed before. Right. So one of the rules that they mention in Shadow Dark is if you try something again, you can lower the difficulty potentially, like you learned something the first time you tried it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it as a difficulty 9 rather than having advantage first. So there we go. That's it. So the next morning, he's finally started to he's wandered around this stupid coastline enough. Okay, fine. He finally makes his way out and into this area. And what is that area like? Well, let's find out. See if it is, in fact, more coastline, which is very possible. All right. So 0704, let's find out what kind of terrain this is. 7, same as current terrain. Okay. So that means it's more ocean, and the coastline is continuing along here. Maybe this is why they don't know that much what's in the West. There's nothing there. Oh well. Oh well. So he's going to keep traveling. I think. So morning he does travel. Goes 704, and then he's going to try to leave there again because you can do 2 travel rounds a day basically. Right, and this is back up to a 12. Okay, 18. Wonderful. 18 even minus 2 is at a 16. Right, so by midday he can travel again. Oh, I forgot to check danger level. Okay, so the danger level for that ocean was also safe. And I'm not going to bother going back and trying to retcon that whole thing. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the new hex's terrain is like. That's a 3, so it's the current terrain plus 1 step. Okay. Which means this is mountains. Okay, so we have more coastline here, but now there are mountains. And so I'm just going to mark that here. And in these mountains, I want to know what the danger level is. 7. No, that's not. I need sleep. It's 5. 5 is a risky danger level. All right. So that means then we roll 3 dice. If any of them come up 1, we've got a random encounter. Actually, every one of them that comes up 1 is a random encounter. Oh, we've got 1 random encounter here in the mountains. Let's find out what that random encounter in the mountains is. It's happening here in around midday. It's random encounter number 49. Right, so in the mountains, we have another random encounter, number 49. An ettercap spins a funnel of webs over a narrow ravine. So, ettercap spins funnel of webs over a ravine. So the first thing I want to do, I want to flesh this out a little bit. Right, so first, distance. So how far am I from this creature when I notice this? I'm near, right? So it's like I'm traveling over the mountains and I come across I'm crossing a ridge and right there, right? So it's near is like 30 feet away, so it's not that far. So now the question is, does one of us notice the other one first or not? Because I feel like an Ettercap, if I remember right, I don't think that are these neutral? I don't think they are. Let me just check. Their line is chaotic, yeah. Yeah, so an Ettercap, it's a bipedal, eight-eyed spider folk with spindly legs and purple fur. Right, so it's like a spider person. Right? Spider-Man? I don't know why that strikes me as funny. But here we are. All right. Ooh, man. These things can be really nasty, can't they? So, so we encounter this Ettercap. Now, it is not going to be um, well disposed right toward us. So the question is whether I notice it first or whether it notices me first. So let's go ahead and check that. Uh, I'm just going to do this as a because I think we both have wisdom scores of 0. So I'm just going to do this as an oracle roll actually and just say, do I notice it first? The answer is no. No, I do not notice it first. So it notices me first. But I can at least see it coming, so it's not going to get like a sneak attack or something like that. But that does suggest that I think like it's probably going to attack me. That this seems like the most obvious thing that it is going to attack me, I suspect. Right. So I guess that's it. Give it advantage. Is it going to attack me? With advantage, the answer is actually no. It is not going to attack me. So I assume that it's going to run away. So it has advantage on running away. All right. So at the very least, we know that there are ettercaps around. This is not the best place for me to sleep. Unfortunately, I've already done enough traveling today that it will be a problem for me to try to not to try to keep traveling. It's for me to not try to make camp and rest. Would turn out to not be great for me, right? So, but now before I do that, I do have some time that I can explore. Right. So as we come toward evening, I want to explore and find whatever point of interest happens to be in this hex. Right. So what is my point of interest? 8. There's a village. Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, and what about this village? What's the state of it? There's a disaster there. No, 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 no. I just want someplace safe to sleep. Okay. It's a storm. Okay. Right, so we explore. We found a village with a storm. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a little village in here. That's my village. And there's a storm. All right. So as we come up toward the village, and we are in the mountains here, storms happen, right? So as we come up into the village, storm is raging. People are running around or trying to like close shutters, that kind of thing. And I think it makes sense that I'm going to try to help them out, right? So I'm going to do that. Now, one thing that I also want to do, though, because I have not yet done anything with settlement myths, so I want to find out more about this settlement now that I'm here. I was hoping to have something like this, right? So, and people might tell me, Professor, you're playing solo. You can literally do whatever you want. If you want to run into a settlement, you can just make there be a settlement. Uh, technically that's true, but in any case, so, technically, yes, I can do whatever I want, but I don't feel right doing whatever I want. Uh, I I feel this obligation to make everything random. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do as a suggested. For a settlement map, what you do, you roll here. It's kind of cool. For a village, right? I'm going to roll for the village. I'm just going to mark here. This is the village in 0705 village. And there we go. We have these three districts kind of lined up this way. So we have a 4, 2, and a 3. So 4 here, 2 here, and a 3 out here. Right, and we know that there are mountains off to the side. So what types of districts are these? Well, this one, 4, this is a market district. Right. Okay, so we know the position, separate the districts by rough lines and shapes, right, to create main streets. Okay, so there's going to be, let's see, one street running along here, other running along here, and we're kind of within like a mountain pass, is what I'm imagining. And then something like this. So these are our districts. 2 would be a low district. 3 would be the artisan district. And then within each of these districts, there is, so you can't actually see the market district that well. Here, actually, I'm going to move my camera up a little bit. There we are. And so we've got the market district, the low district, and the artisan district kind of laid out in this linear fashion. Obviously, we're kind of stuck between two mountains, so we're kind of in a valley here. And so the storm is whipping in at the same time. And what do we have here in the market district? Well, we are going to have a certain number of points of interest. That number is 1. There's 1 point of interest in the market district. What is that point of interest? It is 3. It is rare and exotic goods. So we have rare and exotic goods here. Well, that's nice. Okay, then in the low district, how many points of interest do we have? 1 again. All right. And it is a standard shop. Oh, and standard shop that there's actually, it turns out, a generator for standard shops. So I'm gonna just roll that real quick. So the standard shop specifically, it is 5. It's for adventuring gear. Well, that's nice. And then our artisan district. What does the artisan district have in it? Well, let's find out. Again, 1 point of interest. And in the artisan district, that point of interest is stocks and pillories. It's not the most useful of towns. The alignment of the town, however, it is lawful, or rather, village. Village. It's not a town, it's a village. Okay. So we come to this village, right? And we have all kinds of, it looks like we have lots of like little shops here and the like. But people are like shutting things down and all of that. Okay. Wait, this is like rare and exotic goods. Is that something? No, that's not a specific type of shop. Okay. Right. So I think it makes sense, right? Sarno is going to help people out. That makes some degree of sense. Right. So mountains risky. There's also a village here. Right, okay. And he's looking for some place to spend the night. So I think that he is going to help people out specifically to try to make the case that they should let him spend the night here because there is not an inn, I would note. At least not marked here that I can find. I'm not finding taverns or anything along those lines. Okay, so he's going to be helping people out. So helping people out, then I think he's going to make the charisma roll. It's that he is a weary traveler looking for some place to spend the night. His charisma is at a +1, right? And I think a 19 is probably going to be enough. Yeah. So even if the people were not particularly favorably inclined toward him, they would certainly be willing, right, to let him spend the night. So I'm going to say Sarno helps people, right? And they close up shop and all of that, prep for the storm, and they give him a place to sleep. Now that's a good question. So okay, I think I can think of two possibilities. It's either going to be the adventuring gear store or the rare and exotic goods store, right? So which of them, right, gives him a place to sleep? Is it the rare and exotic goods store? 15. Yes. Right. So they give him a place to sleep at the rare and exotic goods store. But you notice that was an odd, which means there's a but attached to it. That means they're going to want some kind of payment. And I really like that because that means we might potentially have an adventure for next time built into this. So I want to find out who is it? Tell me about the NPC, right, that runs this store. Okay, so this rare and exotic goods store. The NPC that runs it has what type of ancestry? They are a dwarf. Oh, that's wonderful. Uh, a dwarf. Oh wait, I rolled their phone thing. Well, it doesn't. It's the same. Okay, so they are a dwarf that is lawfully aligned. How about their age? That is not the right die for age. You have D8. That was a D10. 6. So they're middle aged. Okay. And their level of wealth? 4. Tell me a little bit more about them. Right. So 3, 16. So they're very tall. Well, for a dwarf. So very tall. They twitch. Oh, I think they've seen some things. And also, last thing is they're actually a werewolf. They've definitely seen some things. Okay. All right. So that is our shopkeeper. I assume the shopkeeper has a name, most likely. Maybe. So let's see what that name is. Okay, 18 and 12. Let's see. So it'd be Par, Ok. I'm just 1917. Par, Ok, Gen. Um, I'm just gonna Parok. Parok. Ooh, and there's an identifier here I can pull. Let's do that. Parok 1, 2. Parok One Eye. Oh, that's cool. He's definitely seen some things, but not as well as he used to. All right. So, so Parok One Eye, right, the shopkeeper here for this rare and exotic goods shop, right, um, is willing, right, to let Sarno stay, and they share some stories right over the course of the evening. Um, And so I'm not going to have to worry about like, you know, being able to sleep safely at night or anything like that. But uh, I think that Perrock is aware of something that he would like to have done. And I think I don't know that he's going to spring this on Sarno. But, you know, Perrock, having formerly been an adventurer himself, knows how this works. Right, so he knows that Sarno might be actually very interested in escorting the relic, sacrificing innocence. Okay? So that's the adventure. So we have these three elements. So it's escort, and this relic, sacrificing innocence. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking happened. Right. This is around an exotic goods store. I'm thinking they have a cursed item here. And Perak really wants to get rid of the thing. Right. So I think that's what it is. So I'm going to say that. So we want to take this relic and we want to get rid of it. And there's some place nearby that he believes he can, in fact, get rid of it. I think I like that idea a lot. So let's go ahead and figure out what this relic is. So it's cursed. So we know that. So it has to be a magic item of some kind. So let's find out what kind of magic item this is going to be. If I find it, there it is. Okay. So first thing, what type of magic item is it? So this relic is it's actually a piece of armor. Okay, so I'm going to assume that it's cursed and it does not actually have a benefit. Does it have a personality? That's an interesting question. The answer is no, it doesn't have a personality. So it's purely just a piece of armor that is cursed. Okay. So what type of armor is it? Let's see. It is leather armor. See, does it provide a bonus? 9. It's a +2. Okay. That's pretty good, actually. 13. It is festooned with fungi. Right, and then we know that it has a curse. And what is the curse? Well, you take double damage from silvered weapons. Oh, and that's fantastic because I mean that means so double damage from silvered weapons. And this guy's a werewolf, right? So that's awful. I mean, if you think about it, because like he's so he can only be damaged by silver and magic sources to start with, but then takes double damage right from it. Right now, okay, okay, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So now his werewolfishness, I don't know if that's we'll have to find out if that's something that's going to come out or not. Right. But we're heading toward nighttime. So I put these notes in the wrong place. So that's fine. Right. So Perok wants um Sarno to get rid of this relic. So I'm going to assume that there's a specific place that he has to take it. So is that place nearby? No, it is not. But it's not that far. So I'm going to say that it's in a neighboring hex. Right. So this is what is agreed to. So the adventure is Sarno will take the leather armor of Silverbane to we need an adventuring sight vein. All right, well we have here the beautiful dungeon name. to the '08 library. I need to roll correctly. To the library of a Piscine 12 night, where it can be destroyed. Perhaps left or destroyed. And that's really the problem. Sacrificing innocence because people were putting on this armor thinking they were safe, but then anytime the weapon happened to be made of silver, suddenly it's a problem, and they're in fact in much more danger than they thought they would be. So I think that that's what happened is that this werewolf Perrock, um, yeah, has watched people die, right, from trusting, right, this armor, which actually made them more vulnerable if they got hit. Right, so I think that that's what has happened. So he wants to get rid of it. It doesn't want around anymore because it's a problem. All right, but that is something we have been playing for a while here. So that is something for next time on Profi Plays. It's Profi signing off.